Have you ever stopped and truly wondered, what happens when we die? Not just a fleeting thought, but a moment where everything around you goes silent, and you feel the weight of the question settle deep in your mind. Is it the end, a new beginning, or something we cannot even fathom? We spend our lives moving forward, always reaching for the next thing. But death is the one thing we all must face. And yet, it remains the greatest unknown. What lies beyond the final breath? A void of nothingness, a cosmic revelation, a return to where we once came from. For centuries, philosophers, scientists, and spiritual seekers have wrestled with this question. And today, we're going to dive deep into the enigma of death, exploring perspectives from science, religion, philosophy, and personal accounts. By the end of this video, you might just see life and death in a completely new way. Let's start with what we know. Science tells us that death is a biological process. When the heart stops beating, blood stops circulating, and the brain, deprived of oxygen, begins to shut down. Consciousness fades. Cells enter a process of decay. Within minutes, the body starts breaking down. But here's where it gets strange. Scientists have discovered that in some cases, the brain remains active even after the body has technically died. In a study conducted on cardiac arrest patients, some showed brain activity for several minutes after they were declared dead. Some even reported hearing voices around them or feeling as if they were still present. And then there are those who have been clinically dead, no heartbeat, no breath, yet revived, and they come back with stories that defy scientific explanation. Could it be that death is not the end, but merely a transition into something else? Millions of people worldwide have experienced near-death experiences, also known as NDEs. They describe a tunnel of light, a feeling of weightlessness, a sense of pure peace. Many claim to have met deceased loved ones, divine beings, or even encountered an all-encompassing love beyond words. Even more mysterious are those who claim to have seen things they could not possibly have known. People in hospitals describe details from rooms they weren't in, events that occurred while they were unconscious. Blind individuals have described seeing, for the first time in their lives, during an NDE. Skeptics argue these experiences are just hallucinations caused by a dying brain. But why are the reports so eerily consistent across different cultures, different religions, different ages? Could it be that these individuals are glimpsing a reality beyond the physical world? Every major religion has attempted to answer the question of what happens when we die. Christianity speaks of heaven and hell, an eternal fate based on our actions and faith in life. Buddhism and Hinduism teach that death is merely a passage into reincarnation, where the soul is reborn into a new body, shaped by karma. Islam describes a day of judgment, where souls will either be rewarded with paradise or face punishment. Ancient Egyptian beliefs held that the soul had to undergo a series of tests before reaching the afterlife. Some indigenous traditions speak of the soul merging with nature, becoming part of the wind, the rivers, the stars. But what if all of them are right? What if the afterlife is a deeply personal experience, shaped by our beliefs and consciousness? What if in death we create our own reality? But let's step outside of religious belief for a moment. What if there is no afterlife, no heaven, no reincarnation, just oblivion? This idea terrifies many. The thought of ceasing to exist is one of humanity's greatest fears. But some philosophers argue that this should liberate us. If life is all we have, then it becomes even more precious. Every moment, every experience, every act of love or kindness, this is what matters. But then, there are the mysterious accounts. People who recall past lives. Unexplained memories of places they've never been. Children who can describe historical events with perfect accuracy, are these simply tricks of the mind, or are they glimpses of a past existence? If consciousness is just a product of the brain, then when the brain dies, shouldn't consciousness end? But what if consciousness is something greater? What if it exists outside of time and space? Quantum physics suggests that time may not be as linear as we think. Some scientists propose that consciousness might not be localized in the brain at all, but rather that the brain is like a receiver tuning into a greater field of awareness. Could death simply be the body switching off while our consciousness continues, free, unbound, moving into an existence beyond our understanding? The Tibetan Book of the Dead describes a journey where the soul transitions through different realms, encountering visions based on its state of mind. Some suggest that the light people see during NDEs is actually the soul moving into another dimension. Is it possible that in death we simply wake up? That what we know as reality is merely a dream, and dying is the moment we remember? So, what happens when we die? Is it an end? A transformation? A return to something forgotten? Or something beyond human comprehension? One thing is certain: death is not the enemy. It is not something to be feared but understood. Whether it leads to a new existence or the final end, it reminds us of the importance of life. It is what makes every heartbeat meaningful, every word spoken, every moment cherished. Because in the end, the real question isn't just what happens when we die, it's what do we do while we're alive? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you believe happens when we die? Let's keep this conversation going. And if you found this video thought-provoking, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because the journey into the unknown has only just begun. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.